Hello, Jon Mutchler here, pastor at the Ferndale Alliance Church. I am on Lopez Island at Spencer Spit, camping with my son Nicholas, but I still wanted to craft and upload one of these devotional videos because we are right in the middle of Matthew chapter 5, verses 21 through 26, that talks about people offending other people and what to do about it. Our key verse is verse 23 that says, if you are offering your gift, if you are in a religious environment, if you are at church or a synagogue, and there remember that your brother or sister has something against you, in other words, you have offended a brother or a sister, leave your gift right there in front of the altar and go and be reconciled to them. It's talking here about when we offend other people, we are supposed to do everything we can to make it right. And as I was thinking about this issue of offenders, I realized there are many different types of offenders. And we need to think about, what kind of offender am I? Let me explain by, lay out 6 different categories of offenders. The first category are the non-offenders. People that just don't wrong anybody. People that have an incredibly high, what's called EQ, emotional intelligence, or I rather call it relational intelligence. They are consistently thoughtful, gracious, kind, angel in heart, generous in spirit. These are just good people. Occasionally you go to a funeral of somebody like that. Usually they are women, but not always, where you look back and you realize this person just didn't hurt, bother, or offend anybody. They were just so in tune with people that they knew what to say and what not to say. They are the non-offenders. The second group of people that may offend are what I call the incidental or rare offenders. It's all 100% non-intentional. In the grocery store, this would be the person that accidentally bumps into somebody else and was simply looking a different direction. They're good in heart, they're gracious, they're kind, and once they find out that they have offended somebody or hurt somebody, they are quick and fast to apologize and make it right. The next category, the third category I had, was the accidental offender who is open to change and learning. These are people that make mistakes. It might be cultural mistakes. They find themselves in a different culture and they maybe say a wrong word or express something with the wrong gesture, or they do something that's out of custom, out of character, out of tradition. And when they find out about it, they are determined to change. They make it right, they apologize, and they're gracious and good about it. It sometimes bothers me that there are people on the other side that are really harsh with people like this. People who make mistakes, sometimes they get piled on. They might say something impertinent, something in an inartful way, and they didn't mean it. They had the best of intentions at heart, but there'll be someone who just wants to pound them for what they're saying. Oddly enough, they themselves are probably guilty of a greater offense. They are probably offending more by attacking somebody who accidentally says something offensive. Interesting enough, the person that was perfect, who never offended anybody intentionally or for the wrong reasons, Jesus Christ, was always kind and gracious to people who made mistakes. So that was the accidental but teachable offender. The fourth group are the unaware offenders. The unaware offenders. These are people that we might call them bulls in china shops. People who just kind of, their second nature is to offend, but they don't see it and they don't get it. Someone might talk to them, a close friend or a relative or a spouse, and say, that was rather offensive. And they say, I don't think so. I don't think I did anything wrong. And they truly might not have bad motives in their hearts, but they're just naturally offensive, and they are oftentimes, unfortunately, unteachable, and it seems almost unable to change. They are again the unaware offenders. The fifth category of people are the offending I don't care people. The offending I don't care people. These are folks that are genuinely offensive. And somebody might point it out to them and they just simply don't care. They have decided in their mind, they have decided as a course of life that if they are offended, they probably don't try to be offended. They just are, but they simply don't care. They're more apt to look at you if you say something to them. If you say to them, that was rather offensive, they might look you right in the eye and say, you deal with it. It's not my problem, right? They are offensive, but they simply don't care. And the last category of people, this is the toughest group, and I frankly don't even want to be around them. These are the intentional offenders. These are the people that are proud to be offenders. These are the guys that if they could, they would take a forklift and drive it straight through the china shop. They're mean-spirited. We might call them bullies. They even get energized the more they think that they offend people. They love being mean. They love running over people, and they absolutely don't care. And to be honest with you, they are lost. I've spent some time in a lot of time in public life, whether as a pastor or as an elected official, and I've run into more of those types of people. They just don't give a rip that they're offensive. In fact, they seem to take pride in it, and the more they can offend, the better. You know what I thought of recently? There have been a number of videos of these clashes between citizens at grocery stores and in public places regarding the wearing of masks. I think wearing masks are important. I also think that you have a right to tell somebody if you think they should be wearing a mask. You can tell them politely and thoughtfully. They may have simply forgotten. I have carried my mask around in places and I take it off when I feel like it's safe, and sometimes I simply forget to put it back on. I have no problem with somebody saying, hey, would you please put on your mask? It's when it's repetitive and abusive and attack people for not wearing masks that may actually have a good reason for not wearing one. Again, you have every right to make the first comment, but I've seen it escalated. Just Google mask confrontations on YouTube, just search it, and you see these ugly, horrific, cringeworthy people being themselves offensive over the top because they don't like what somebody else is doing. So anyway, what kind of offender are you? We are all probably offenders in one way or another. I hope that we are teachable offenders. And as I look at this passage where Jesus says, if you've hurt your brother, offended your brother, wronged your brother, you need to make it right. If you're the kind of person that just doesn't care, I actually think you're lost. I'm going to look you right in the eye. You're probably just clueless and you're lost, not much to do about you. But if you're like most people, and you don't want to be an offensive person, I think Jesus has some great words for us, and we'll look at those a little bit later. Thank you for watching, and go out and don't be offensive today. Thank you.